The Jeopardy! Studio audience, which included some past winners, were heard gasping in horror after tonight's contestant lost all of his earnings on a risky game-ending wager. Season 41 fan favorite Rishabh Wuppalapati returned to Thursday night's game in hopes of continuing his winning streak after fighting to win back-to-back nail-biters. The undergraduate student at the University of Pennsylvania, who has already secured $42,402 in his two-day total, played against Aaron Brown, an entrepreneur and trivia host from Ontario, as well as Angel Poe, an educational consultant from Florida. Aaron and Rishab had quite the battle as they swapped leads throughout the game. However, it was Angel who found the first daily double but unfortunately got it wrong and lost $1,000. Going into the first break, Rishab was in unfamiliar territory as he was in third place with $0. Aaron was in the lead at that point with $6,200 while Angel was in second place with $2,000. When the second daily double was found under women's organizations, Aaron was in the lead with $10,800. However, he got the response wrong and dropped $2,000, putting Rishab back in the lead with his $10,200. The third daily double is where the game made a huge shift, as Aaron found the coveted clue again. Under the category, The Books of Mormons, host Ken Jennings read, "One heck of a labyrinth is the only way out in this 2009 James Dashner novel. What is the Maze Runner?" Was the answer the show was looking for. However, Aaron sat in silence for several seconds before blurting out "What is maze?" which Ken did not accept. Aaron bet every dollar of his $10,400 for a true daily double. Though he was just a few $100s behind Rishabh for the lead, he had now dropped to $0, resulting in an audible gasp from the studio audience. Contestant Zoe Grobman, who made her Jeopardy! Debut on Tuesday's game but lost to Rishab, gave fans some more insight into just how shocking the moment was on set. That huge daily double made everyone in the audience gasp. It's such a shame it didn't work out for Aaron. But all of us players, and a certain 5X champion in the audience that day, agreed it was absolutely the right move to make given how strong Rishab had been so far against tough competition, she said, referencing 5-day champ Mark Fitzpatrick, who was also still around watching the competition. "I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with a second chance on the strength of that play," Zoe added of Aaron's impressive performance. "Go big, go home." Heading into Final Jeopardy, only Aaron and Rishab participated as Angel was in the red with -$400. Host Ken read the clue under Letter of the Artists category. In 1896 he wrote, "My prices are $2,000, $3,000 and $4,000 for head and shoulders, 3/4 length and full length respectively." Neither player wrote down the correct, "Who was John Singer Sargent?" Rishab dropped $5,000 to win with $10,400 for a 3-day total of $52,802. Despite going big, Aaron is going home with $1,600. Contestant Zoe offered more insight into the behind-the-scenes of the show, writing, "Aaron was probably the strongest player of all of us during the practice games in the morning. The fact that he's a professional trivia daddy gave him even more serious bona fides, so I knew whoever went up against him would have a tough time." She added, "Angel was an absolute sweetheart all day and it was truly sad to see her not make it to final. That's the nightmare scenario coming on the show and I'm sure it hurt. But she did such a good job rallying back from a deep hole near the end, and all the rest of us thought she's a rock star." On the left podium stood Rishabh Wuppalapati, a poised and confident competitor who had been dominating the board with his broad knowledge. A young man in his late 20s, Rishab had cruised through categories like world capitals, physics phenomena, and ancient empires, amassing an impressive total of $22,000 by the end of Double Jeopardy. His calm composure and quick recall had earned him a slew of applause throughout the game. However, it was his opponent's shocking moment that would etch this episode into the annals of Jeopardy! History. To Rishab's right stood Erica Stone, a high school history teacher from Denver. Erica had started off strong, showcasing a keen intellect and a remarkable ability to buzz in at the right moment. She was neck and neck with Rishabh for most of the game and had even surpassed him briefly, thanks to her sharp instincts in the literature and poetry category. By the time Double Jeopardy neared its end, she had built a small but respectable lead of $24,000 to Rishab's $22,000. Then came the game-changing moment. Erica uncovered the last remaining daily double, hidden under the $2,000 clue in the U.S. President's category. Her face lit up with excitement and nervous energy. The audience murmured in anticipation, understanding the gravity of this discovery. With a single clue, Erica had the power to either cement her lead or risk it all. Alex Trebek's successor, the ever-charismatic Ken Jennings, smiled at her. "Erica, this is your daily double," he said. "You have $24,000. What's your wager?" The seconds stretched on as Erica considered her options. Her brow furrowed as she weighed the risk. She glanced at Rishab, who stood stoically, waiting to see what she would do. With only one category remaining after this, the stakes couldn't be higher. Erica knew she had to make a bold move if she wanted to secure her place in Final Jeopardy. "I'm going all in," Erica announced, her voice steady but laced with tension. The crowd gasped audibly. All in? A $24,000 bet? She had just wagered her entire fortune on a single question. The shockwave rippled through the audience. Some covered their mouths in disbelief, others whispered to their neighbors. Even Ken Jennings raised his eyebrows slightly, though he quickly regained his poker face. "All right, Erica," Ken said, his tone even. "Here is your clue." The screen flashed with the final clue of the round. This U.S. president once worked as a movie actor before transitioning into politics and serving 2 terms in the 1980s. The clue seemed straightforward enough, and Erica's face reflected a quiet confidence. Her hands gripped the sides of the podium, her mind racing. She had heard this before. She had taught her students about this very president during one of her history classes. She knew the answer. "Who is Ronald Reagan?" she responded, her voice breaking the silence that had overtaken the studio. A split second passed. Then Ken Jennings nodded. "That is correct," he said, his voice enthusiastic. The audience erupted into cheers, and Erica let out a sigh of relief. Her total had now skyrocketed to an astounding $48,000. She beamed, her joy contagious as the applause filled the room. Rishab, though disappointed at seeing Erica pull ahead, gave a subtle nod of acknowledgement. He knew it was still anyone's game. But as the cameras shifted focus back to the board, something strange happened. There was one remaining clue, and it turned out to be another daily double. The producers had made an unprecedented decision to include 2 daily doubles in the same round. Erica's high stakes had made the final stretch unpredictable.